Yesterday, I went to the Metropolitan Museum in New York. Why'd I say it like that? I have no idea, but yeah, that's what I did yesterday. It was a gloomy, rainy day, and I had to stand in line outside, and it was cold, and there were people skipping the line, and I was like, I should have just skipped the line instead of waiting like 30 minutes. But anyways, I didn't. Got into the museum, and I went to one of the galleries. It's like European Impressionists are in there. Monet, Manet, Corot, Go was in there, Pissarro, a few others, obviously, a lot of other people, but none that I can remember at the moment. So I was walking through the galleries. I was kind of overwhelmed. I'm like, yeah, I hate museums. There's just too much going on, so many people, and too much art, you know? It's overwhelming, but I stepped into a room and it was filled with a bunch of Pissarro paintings, and everything kind of transformed from that moment. I felt tears streaming down my face. I felt like I felt the soul of the painters. Like, I felt Pissarro, and I felt like I just was transported into those scenes. And damn, I'm gonna start crying right now. It was just like a respite from my life. It felt like an escape for a moment, and my soul just really enjoyed that. Because, you know, I talk about on this channel a lot that I'm kind of stuck in my neighborhood, that I don't really know how to get myself out of here, even though I like it a lot and it's a great place to be. I often wish to be somewhere else. So for a moment there in that gallery, I was somewhere else. I was with Pissarro in France. I was there with Go, and I felt Go, and I was there with Corot, and I was there with Manet, and I was there with Monet, and all these different painters. So good. Felt so good to be in their world. Because it might have been a different world. I woke up this morning, and one of the things I thought was, my childhood and the world of my childhood was so different from what it is now. And at the time I thought, it's worse now, you know, it's worse. When I was growing up, we had phones, but they were flip phones, and that was basically it. And technology was pretty limited, you know, we would spend time together, spend time outside. The world was a different place. So I thought about it some more as I went throughout my morning routine, and I think that in some aspects things are worse now, but it would be so. I keep hearing irrational in my head, so I'm just going to use that word, even though that's not what I wanted to use. It's kind of irrational to say that everything is worse now, because things were bad back then too. It was just like a different type of bad in some cases. And it's not fair to say that we're moving in a bad direction, even though sometimes I feel like that, because there are a lot of good things that are happening in the world. It's just we're probably just not focusing on it, and we're not aware of it, because there's money to be made in fear, and keeping us fearful, and keeping us but that's not to negate all of the terrible things that are happening, because there are a lot, and they're valid, and they're real. But things have always been bad, things have always been good, it's always been a mix, and to say that it's worse now would be a little bit unfair and not completely accurate, I think. But who knows? I don't know. Maybe there are statistics. Anyways, all that to say, it might have been a different world back then. You know, that was, 1800s, early 1900s. Just think about how much has changed in the last 20 years since I was born, and in the lifetime that I've lived. So many different energies, so many different events. So it was beautiful to step into their world for a bit. But the thing is, it didn't encapsulate the reality of their life, but a moment of beauty is these painters, they chose to paint that scene probably because they felt a connection to it, and they felt something meaningful in that scene, something beautiful. I mean, I speculate, right? I don't know. Maybe it was just routine humdrum stuff, and they were like, I need to sell a painting, I'm just gonna paint whatever. But I don't know, I like to think that what they were looking at made them feel the way I feel when I look at something beautiful, you know? When I look at something beautiful, and I feel that sense of awe, and I feel that sense of connection with the world. And so I was crying throughout the whole gallery. I was walking around sobbing, and it was okay because no one really noticed. Everyone was too involved in their own stuff, you know? So I got to cry, and I got to feel, and I got to feel connected. And I guess it was nice. But then I had to take the train home, and it was raining, and it was gloomy, and I realized I wasn't where these painters, you know, I'm not there. And that was kind of upsetting, but life is upsetting sometimes, and I have this pattern within me that I just don't want life to be upsetting. I don't understand pain. I don't understand why it has to exist. But maybe it's just because I'm simple, and maybe I'm just traumatized, and I don't want to experience any more difficult moments more than I already have. But I'd like to live in a peaceful world. I'd like to live in a world where I wake up every day and I feel honestly good. I feel happy. Because lately, I told you guys that I've been waking up with a sense of like dread and emptiness and really bad thoughts. And it's weird because it only happens when I wake up. Like, if I look at myself throughout the day, I feel okay, and sometimes I feel more than okay. But when I wake up, it's like my subconscious mind is right in the forefront of everything, and it's just telling me you are depressed. And I don't know if that's accurate. I don't know if I'm depressed. I might just be a little sad with the way things are. I have no idea. It's hard to tell. But yeah, that's one thing I wanted to mention, or the few things I wanted to mention. I also recently was talking to a friend. She came over, my best friend, and I told her about a Chekhov story that I read last year called Ariadna. And I was telling her, you know, I really resonated with Ariadna. And not really in a good way, because the whole story is about how her lover, or one of her lovers, doesn't really like her anymore and fell for her and feels like he was trapped in a relationship with her. And while I was reading it, I just kept feeling like I am Ariadna. You know, I just kept feeling that feeling of like this story was placed in my hands by the universe, you know, so I could understand who I am a little bit better. The narrator of the story talked about Ariadna being someone who's charismatic, someone who is, you know, spiritual, someone who's, I don't know, like a good time. I read it a long time ago, so I can't really remember that well. But past that, she's shallow and vain, and she doesn't really know anything, you know. She hangs out with all of these artistic people and creative people, and she wants to be in their world, but she is, there's just like, in the narrator's perspective, more to her that he didn't really catch on first in his like, there's more to the story, you know, there's more to her, and he didn't really like it. And well, yeah, while I was reading it, I was like, damn, like maybe that's who I am, you know, maybe this like vain woman who doesn't really know anything and comes off as intelligent during the first few impressions, and then you realize there's not much depth, you know. But that was last year. And I don't think I feel like that now, but it was interesting to read that, because and she ate at night, Ariadna, and I was like, wait, I do that too. But anyways, I was talking to my best friend about it, and then we realized we both kind of resonated with the character, Ariadna. But then she was like, oh, you know what I just remembered? I remembered Oblomov by Goncharov, right? That's his name? I might be wrong. And it just popped into her head. She's like, oh my God, I'm having this memory of Oblomov by Goncharov, but I don't think she ever read it, or maybe she did, but she just remembered it. And I was like, that's a sign for me to read this book. I believe that, you know, it just hit her out of nowhere because I was meant to read it. Yesterday at the Met, I saw the painting that was used as the cover for Oblomov. It was there. It was, you know, I could insert it right here, but that's the cover of Oblomov in one of the releases of the book. So I was like, okay, I probably should read this book because I'm seeing it and it's being, and I think it already resonates with me because I read the synopsis with my best friend. It's about like a lazy man who can't get out of bed, I think, or can't really seem to do anything with his life. And yeah, I think I resonate with that too, but we'll see. I'm gonna read it and let you guys know. What else did I want to talk about? Let me reference my journal. Yeah, I went to the Met and cried. Oblomov, Ariadna. Hey everybody, so it's a few hours later. I didn't finish what I was talking about, so I thought I'd add some more stuff to today's video. I just took a walk and there was an estate sale, so I bought some records. Here's one that I picked up. Don't know what year it's from. 1977. That's great. It's a lot older than I am. Pink Floyd, Money, and Have a Cigar. Not my favorite songs, but it's cool to have this little relic. Is that what it's called? I don't know if that's offensive to anybody, but hey. 1977, that was a while ago. Yeah, so I did that. I also have been playing tennis in the park and jumping rope in the park. And the other day, some middle-aged Asian man asked me if I wanted to play tennis on the actual courts. So him and we played, and I'm not bad. He said I'm kind of like a natural, which is a nice compliment to give. I was feeling pretty, what's the word? I always forget this word. But I always forget this word, always. Feeling pretty let down, I'll say that. Pretty let down the other day, playing against the wall. Because the wall is hard to play against. It's it's unforgiving. If you hit too hard, you're done. You have to like get every shot like pretty consistent and correct, and for a beginner it's pretty hard. But it helped me a lot because when I was playing on the court, I did pretty well. Anyways, yeah, so that's what I've been up to, and I'm also just trying to figure out the next part of my life, right now it just really revolves around fitness. I've just been getting out more, walking, playing tennis, jumping rope, but I'd really like to figure out a path for myself, some way to have money, you know, have a job. That'd be nice, but I'm so I think I am, I don't know if I'm lazy or if I'm traumatized or if I'm just mentally not well, but the idea of work isn't really appealing at all to me. I mean, in certain aspects, yes, like having a purpose and contributing to something, but I'm almost in this pessimistic state of mind of just like, what work will I find, you know? I'm not really, I don't know, I'm not really, I'm not qualified for anything, but that's whatever. We'll figure it out. Sometimes I wish I could just keep doing what I'm doing and, you know, it'll work out, everything will work out, but a lot of people have, thoughts about that, you know, that this is just, should be a hobby, you know, and nothing, like music should be my hobby and being on social media should just be a hobby, and they might be right, but I just feel so discouraged. Oh, that's the word I was looking for. I feel so discouraged because this is what I'm drawn to, and I just want to keep doing it, and I wish I could do it for a living. Maybe it'll suck at doing it for a living. I wouldn't know. I would not know. Yeah, but in terms of like my romantic life, there's not much going on, and it hurts, you know. It makes me feel like I'm doing something wrong, that I'm not good enough. But my aim right now is not to be in love. My aim is to just get better as a human being. And it's wrong, because you're not supposed to be rewarded with love. It's not a reward. It's not something that you earn, right? I don't think it should be like that, but that's how it is in my head anyways. I just think, oh, once I have a successful career, once I, you know, I'm just a better version of myself, then I'll be rewarded with love. And that's just really painful. That's painful because I just always had this idea that love would come in any, you know, even when I'm not perfect. Like, there's a part of me that doesn't feel like I'm worthy of love. All right, whatever. Oh, the sun came out. That's good. I might take a walk. I feel like that would help. Or go jump rope or play tennis. That's what my life is now, so. I also want to learn how to surf, and I want to travel the world. And I want to show you, and I want to take you guys with me, but we'll see. I'm healthy, which is good. I had a health scare and everything turned out okay. You know, my brain is fine. Thank God. For now. So yeah. I should be happy, I know. I have a long life ahead of me. You know. I should be happy, but nothing's ever enough. Whatever, Maria. You got this. You are amazing. You are strong, you are lovable, and it'll only get better from here. Alright, I'll talk to you guys in another video.